just curious, so we're trying to set the stage here because we know we're going to be talking about a retirement match. I'm just curious, did you know going into Royal Rumble, I'm probably ready to wind it down? Or are you hurting as a result of that match? And then you come back through the curtain and Vince is very unhappy with what happened. And you think, maybe now's time. When does it start to enter your mind that I'm getting close here?
Conrad, I'm trying to go back in time and recall if I knew that that we were going to follow up the Rumble with the Hell in a Cell,
Right.
or whether I'd have to go back. I think Eddie Guerrero had an injury. No, that was later. Eddie came in later, the elbow injury. There may have been some deciding factor that there was a big deciding factor. And I wrote about this, and man, I'm not here to hurt Big Show's feelings but at that time it was thought people had gotten in his brain, it really messed with him, not intentionally, in trying to make him the best Big Show that he could be. Now you got to be more aggressive, which meant faster. So now you got the biggest man on the planet, and he's, instead of one real deliberate and effective boot, he thinks he's got to deliver 5 or 6 of them fast, and he was just losing course. And that's when Vince asked me, and pulled me and Hunter aside and said, man, Steve had been hurt, and they need something to carry them over to Mania season. And pulled us aside, and at that point it was Vince's belief that the show wasn't on that level that he needed him to be. And I had essentially retired a couple months earlier. I was heavy. My knees were really hurting. I had made what I think was a really bad. There was a really pivotal moment, Conrad, where I should have realized, okay, I'm as more over than I could have. I don't want to say could have dreamed, but I probably dreamed I could be more over than I realistically thought. This thing is going so well. I felt like I needed to be 275, 280 when I came into the company. I held 275, 280 after I left WCW. I held it for those 15 months. I got myself into what I thought, was really good shape for my ECW run. My IWA Japan run, did the indies, really wanted to try to make every match as good as I could. But going down below that, I thought would have been counterproductive facing The Undertaker. Right. I needed that little bit of padding. But once I got that over and I started having problems with my knees, I should have realized fans are going to accept me at 250.
Right.
I should have done whatever I could to go down 20, 30 pounds. Instead, when I put on 20 or 30 pounds, it really started having an effect on my knees. If you look back at all those matches I did after maybe my first year in the company where I wore knee pads, no knee pads. So there's that famous photo of DX holding me aloft and Road Dogg shouting in the background. And I've got the title held up in the air. And you can see just no knee pads, a hole in the brown tights. And I went in the last 2 or 3 years of my run there in WWE without any knee pads, constantly hitting not just the mat, but the concrete outside. And just little by little, all these little cracks start forming in my knees, to where when I had them examined, the doctor, orthopedic guy, whose name will come to me, is I was his first patient. And when I was 12 years old, I broke my thumb as a kid. Dr. Ligori calls over his colleagues, and they all marvel at this 34-year-old man with the 80-year-old knees.
Wow.
They looked arthritic to the point where it's what you usually see in somebody much older. So it was brought on by all those, the real physical style. And I wouldn't say I was taking risks when I was dropping to my knees outside, but I realized
trauma to the knees.
Yeah, trauma to the knees. And when I did the cactus clothesline, after the first maybe 10, 12 times where I was really out of control doing it, meaning in a good way. I mean, I was taking my risks on that one. And then I started holding on longer, which lessens the risk, but also understanding and fully appreciating that when I did that, I'd be hitting my thighs hard on the apron.
Hmm.
And then that creates these bruises and discomforts. And so I was really uncomfortable and a lot of pain when I was coming down to that final end. But in either October or November, we can check back because it was that historic night that Bruce has probably talked about, where I said, I don't know, I'm supposed to be searching for Val Venus in like the bowels. This was in Philadelphia. And he takes me like to this, the seedy, it's kind of, like the bowels, the inner workings, peep shows and things like that. And I said, Bruce, I don't know, like, mankind's kind of become this family friendly character. And now I'm searching for Val Venus in peep shows and I'm opening up the curtains. We got guys with their pants down at their ankles. And then I say, I start getting into the thing. Bruce, I need as many quarters as you can get me, So after Ripper, you pervert this, and then I open up one of the things. I yanked the guy out of there, and I said, "Is that Kay Parker?" Kay Parker was a great starlet of the late '70s. And now, when they cut away, I'm coming running out, and I've got quarters falling out of my pocket, giving the illusion I've been in there for hours.
Tremendous.
And I think they're towing the car. I said, wait. And I think I said to Bruce after the car gets towed, I said, Bruce, did you know that I was going to get like that emotionally? Oh, yeah. We gave you lip service. Okay, Mick, we'll do the family-friendly PG stuff while you're searching the bowels of the building. And we'll just count on you being the type of guy who will run out of a building with a pocket full of quarters. But what was pivotal about that night was that that was the night Al Snow and I worked with Bob and Crash Holly, and I was SmackDown taping, and I fell down twice in the match. Couldn't the patented catch the boot, spin me around, but I come back with the clothesline.
There you go.
Which your friend DDP took like the day after I left WCW in '94, and I was like, DDP, you're taking all my stuff. He's like, well, bro, you're not here anymore. I was like, one day I might be back again, and I might like to have that stuff. Yeah, DDP had never done that catch the boot, spin, clothesline. He may have added this business to it, but I talked to Vince. I was so embarrassed that night. I said, Vince, man, I think I got to hang up the boots. At that point, it was the sneakers, which I started wearing because of the problems with the knees. And that's where he encouraged me to drop some pounds. And I said, Vince, I can't remember where I live anymore.
Oh.
He says, what's that? I said, I drive past my house. Like, I can't remember things. And he said, you just had your last match.
Wow.
So that's when people talk about Vince being selfish and driving people too hard, I'll counter with, all right, maybe there are elements of that. But when push came to shove and he heard that one of his guys was having trouble with his memory, it was more important to him that I be healthy than that.